Let's do this one more time this semester. We got sports to talk about, and it's the extra point. It starts right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our last episode of the semester of The Extra Point. Once again, I'm your host, Griffin Barfield. I'm back in the panelist desk. Brian Warner to my left, RJ Polite, and Daniel Duncan to my right, guys.
What's up?
Thanks for being here. It's been an awesome semester, but we got sports to talk about, and it's been pretty busy. But, of course, we got to get to the college football pick'em first. My favorite rivalry of the year, I'm sure it might be on your top. Daniel, obviously, for you it is. We got Army-Navy, both 5 and 6. Should be a fun game. I think Bill Belichick is the guest picker on College Game Day, so that would be fun. But, guys, who do you got in this one? Take it away.
Okay.
I'll let you take this.
It's been painful as a Navy football fan for the past couple of years. The offense is atrocious, but the defense has kind of helped them win games. That's why they're 5 and 6. Army, same way. It's really hard to say that Navy's going to win this game based off of logic, but Navy's going to win this game because they're going to be creative as humanly possible and win in the most Navy way ever. I remember 2 years ago, it was last drive of the game, and they go for it on 4th on accident. Like, it's a fake snap to Diego Fagot, who was a linebacker, and he got the first down, and they drove down and won the game. It's going to be something crazy like that. Navy will beat Army in the America's game. And for Lee Corso, got the little Navy hat.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't know how you can beat that, but
Yeah. I would go with Navy just because Daniel like Navy. And, last year it was a close game, right?
Yeah, that was the first overtime in its 124-year rivalry.
Yeah.
And it went to double overtime, and we fumbled on the 1-yard line. It's so sad.
It's Navy, I got Navy.
Yeah.
I got faith in Navy.
I'm a hometown kid. Naval Academy's like 45 minutes away. I always got to ride with Navy. I mean, I'm going Navy. They're 5 and 6. It's not like it was last year. Like Army was like way better. They have like a really good record last year, and they still went to double OT. Navy finds a way to stay in the game. I'm going Navy.
I mean, this game's obviously going to be close, and I mean, I got to continue the sweep. I'm gonna run with Navy. I think they're pissed off from last year. They are an underdog too, so that kind of raises the stakes. But this game's always going to be close, and it'll be a classic for sure.
They should be mad about last week, though, 'cause SMU put up 52 points in the first half.
They were like 42 with 7.5 left in the second.
Yeah.
I turned on the game. I was like, oh my God.
It was the longest Navy game I've ever watched. And it was bad.
Yes, Navy. That's why they're not happy. But always a fun one. We'll see what happens. That one's at 3, I believe. It's usually
3
Tuesday
p.m.
afternoon
and it's
game.
the first time it's at Gillette Stadium, which, as a Patriots fan, is pretty dope.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure. Moving on though, and we got a little bit of an open discussion here. I think everybody has a view about what they believe in this. We're only one question on this segment, buy or sell. I think you know what's coming, but obviously the college football playoff is set in stone. Michigan at the 1, Washington at the 2, and then Texas and Alabama at the 3 and the 4. Obviously there is an odd one out here in Florida State. They did finish in the 5. So I will leave this to you guys. Buy or sell, the college football playoff committee got the picks right. Who wants to start?
Nah, I feel like.
Want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. I feel like the committee robbed Florida State just because they went undefeated. And I thought about that one year when Clemson went undefeated. Like, see if that would, happen to us when, say if Trevor Lawrence would have got hurt, will they still let us go in the playoffs? Or, would they would kick us out? The boys really worked hard this season to be undefeated, so it's kind of crazy that they robbed them like that. And, I feel like if they would have still went to the playoffs and, I wouldn't think they would get blown out, but who knows? But they could like show like some exposure, like for like see like NFL teams look at on tape, see how they play in big games and stuff like that. So it's just crazy how it happened. Alabama, I don't like Alabama. So yeah.
You want to go, Daniel?
Let's
You wanna
take it.
go?
I want you to go.
All right. I'm selling this 100%. I do not think they did well. Like, just like Archie said, they went undefeated. They worked their tail off for 13 games, and because of one injury that was bad luck, they get disqualified from the playoffs. I find that terrible. I don't think there should be any reason why a committee should be deciding who the best teams are. I think they should have input, but I don't think they should be the final decision. And I'm so glad they're going to a 12-team playoff because Florida State absolutely deserves to go in. And if this was next year, they would get home field advantage, which is good. Like, they'd get home field advantage. They'd still be in the playoffs. But this year, it's so bad. And I saw some tweet after Jacksonville got injured. Someone said, well, I guess Jacksonville's not making the playoffs because their quarterback got injured. They're not going to the playoffs anymore. So it was like, I don't agree with it. I don't like how they did it. And they only did it because Alabama's name's bigger. That was the only reason.
Yeah.
Because Alabama was full health, supposedly. And they didn't want some TCU re-incident like last year, which I think is stupid because everyone always says don't focus on the past, go on the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with both y'all. Definitely sell. Florida State should be in there. I remember it was 2017 UCF. Pick it. Alabama 11-1 didn't make it to the SEC championship because they lost to Auburn. UCF 13-0 conference champion left out. They go on to beat Auburn, who beat Georgia and Bama. Same thing the next year. Bama got in over UCF, but 2018 made more sense. Now it's Power 5. Then it was Power 5 conference. You're not a Power 5 conference championship as an undefeated team. Now there is one, and they live them out because of one little injury and put Bama in for favoritism. It's the same pattern, and they continue the narrative that the SEC is better than everybody else, which is
It is.
pretty true, but like
Still.
you still got to give a Power 5 undefeated conference championship winner a shot in the Final Four.
Especially when they're doing well with their backup QB. And their backup QB is going to be their starter next year.
Yeah, Rodmaker was not
Rodmaker.
bad. He's just concussed for a game and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Then I feel like it's dealing with like the view count could like bring in more views. Alabama would bring in more views and make it more entertaining.
I forget the estimated amount though, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think because Bama was in, they'd get more viewership and make more money.
Yeah.
And
But-
they're in the Rose Bowl, right? And wasn't that usually ACC versus or Pac-12 versus Big Ten, right?
Yeah, because it was Utah. It was Utah, Penn State last year, and 2 years ago that was the Jackson Smith and Jigba game, Ohio State and Utah, when like
Okay.
Stroud threw for like 5 touchdowns.
I would say if it was, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause if it was like ACC, Big Ten, then they just like, but never mind, it's not.
Yeah.
I'll play the other side here. I'm not gonna buy it because it's not right what they did. I'm gonna hold it though, because the playoff committee talk about who are the best 4 teams. Does Alabama fit in those best 4 teams? I think they do. They beat Georgia and they didn't lose, but I mean the Texas loss is obviously huge. But at the same time, you can't do that. So like Florida State, they're an undefeated champion. They beat a team that has held their own with Louisville. I mean, I feel like I'm making. I think Alabama deserves to be in. That's why I'm holding it. I think Alabama deserves to be in, but they shouldn't be in over Florida State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's such a weird situation though, because you can't go back on your word because it happened with TCU. I mean, UCF and Cincinnati, not UCF didn't get in. Cincinnati did though, but they got blown out. So it's just like a weird situation you're in, I think.
It's also like they can do Bama a bit easier this year because next year's a 12-team playoff. There's no narrative that's set for the rest of the college football history if it stays 12-team. So.
Yeah, anybody can get in.
Auburn rushes one more on that 31, and there's no
Yeah.
question
Like-
who's in.
Like they preach the eye test, and then Auburn almost beats them. Arkansas almost beats them. USF.
USF.
Beats them. And then Florida State, and they win games grittily, but they still won.
I
So.
feel like Florida State would give Bama a run for their money though.
I think they would, because everyone's saying, oh, but if Bama played Florida State, Bama would wipe the floor. And I'm like,
Nah.
Florida State's defense is
stepped up.
very good.
Yeah.
Like, after the injury, they stepped up.
They
They're
got
one of
some
the best.
decent skill positions too, but defense is what's carrying them a little bit.
Yeah, I think a quarterback's what's not what was needed, but I mean Jordan Travis completed that team.
Yeah.
I think Florida State could have won the national championship. I mean their defense just kept playing better and better as the season went on, for sure.
Jordan Travis should be given the Heisman because apparently he's the most
Exactly.
I saw that tweet. They were like, they should give it to Jordan Travis. He should be a lockdown for the Heisman because he was obviously the most influential on the team.
Exactly,
I don't
but
know,
at the same time, like, I mean, it does make sense. Like, the biggest play of the game was a 70-yard wildcat run, which, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, you did get the win, so it's tough. It's tough, but at the same time, I think I'm leaning more towards selling, but at the same time, I think Alabama, like, has proved their worth, but I don't think they should be over Florida State. I wish it was a 5-team playoff.
So who
16
they playing?
playoff.
Who they playing though?
So
Alabama gonna play.
Alabama are going to play Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, Michigan
And then
stomped them too.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll move on though. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of a bowl game pick 'em, our New Year's 6 bowl games. So obviously 6 games. Starting off with the Cotton Bowl, that's the first one. Number 9 Missouri against number 7 Ohio State. Who do you guys got in this one?
Ohio State.
Ohio State?
Yeah. If Marvin playing, then I feel like he gonna show out and like have like 3, maybe 4 touchdowns. Something too crazy. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know Missouri. No, I'm leaning Ohio State. Ohio State.
All right.
Missouri's kind of been like a wonder kid this year compared
Yeah.
to what they've been doing. But I still got to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ohio State lighting it up. I would say it'd be close to about the third quarter, and then Ohio State's going to pull away.
Yeah.
who's in for quarterback? Because Tom McCord hit the transfer portal.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
That's where I'm curious.
I don't know.
I have no idea who the backup is. Because I'm almost leaning Missouri. Like, shockingly enough, Missouri's been able to pull through some of these, like, tough games in the SEC. So, without Kyle McCord, I'm not saying Kyle McCord was great, but, like, with the connection's going to be a little rough. I think Martin Harrison Jr. will be a factor. I think he's going to do really well. Something tells me Missouri's going to come away with, like, a last-minute field goal or touchdown. I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna come through. They're probably one of the best running backs in the league in Schrader.
Yeah.
He's a great story. I remember seeing that one when they played Arkansas. But I'm gonna go Missouri. I'm gonna go on a limb.
I'm gonna take Missouri as well. I think their players are gonna opt into this game. Like that just seems like the team that you have, and I love their coach. He's pretty funny, and I just don't know who's playing for Ohio State, who's not. Marvin Harrison's a question mark. Kyle McCord's gone. Julian Fleming's gone from the transfer portal. So I'm gonna roll with Missouri. I'll roll with the underdog here. But obviously that'll be a fun one. December 29th. But the day after that, we got the Peach Bowl. Number 10 Penn State. Number 11 Ole Miss. That one is a noon kickoff. I think it's in Atlanta, right? Atlanta? Peach Bowl, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, Ole Miss, very good offense. Penn State, very good defense. Who takes it?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss?
I'm just leaning toward. I mean, Penn State. It's like they got a good team, but like they never can like win big games when it comes down to it. And I feel like Ole Miss can do something, shake something, make something shake.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to quote you, actually. Last year you said that if Penn State was a three-quarter team, they'd be the best team in college football history. Yeah. And that is so true. And, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. Ole Miss is going to pull out the win in the fourth quarter.
I'm going to take Ole Miss as well. I like their team a lot more. I love Lane Kiffin as a coach, and I just don't see them scoring points. I mean, that's just been the story of the game. They're a defensive team, and Ole Miss they light it up. So I'm gonna go with the offense to win the game, and I'll go with Ole Miss.
Now Penn State, is Chop Robinson and Kalen King playing?
Chop Robinson's going to the draft, I think.
He's going to the draft, and I'm guessing Kalen King's most likely going to the draft.
Probably.
So you're looking at the one strength they have. They're losing 2 key players. So as much as I want to say Penn State, like, hey, they're really good, I think I have to kind of lean towards Ole Miss just because I don't think Ole Miss has as many key players going and not going to be part of the game. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I want to round us out with the sweep, but like, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Ole Miss is going to pull it out.
Sweep curse potential. I guess we'll see what happens. But after that, we got the Orange Bowl. Number 6 Georgia versus number 5 Florida State. I'll go out on a limb here. I'll go first. I'm going to say Florida State wins this game. And I don't know if that is a hot take. I think that with the whole college football playoff thing, they're going to come out of the gut and they're going to just prove the whole college football playoff wrong. I'm going to go Florida State. I know it's tough because Georgia's Georgia.
Either way, I feel like both of them were gonna feel like they was disrespected not getting in the playoffs. So somebody got to win the game. So I'm leaning towards Florida State too.
Florida State.
Just
Yeah, I'll go with Florida State also. I think there's a lot more fire under Florida State now and anger. Like, ooh, we got to beat the two-time champ
Yeah.
to really prove it to the committee this
gain some respect.
Yeah.
Can I just choose the committee to lose? At this point, this team is going to be it's going to be such a grudge match because although Georgia doesn't deserve to go in because they lost, 100% makes sense, beat records, so forth, you're not the champion. There's still a little bit of a fire because, I don't know if you guys saw the Kirby Smart interview afterwards where he's like, it's the 4 best teams, not the 4 best records.
Yeah.
But then you look at Florida State, and Florida State has gone through so much, and then they get absolutely pummeled by the committee at the end. I'm looking at, it's tough to go. I think Carson Beck and Tate Rodmaker, I think is how they're kind of similar in my eye. Like, to me, they look very similar in where they throw. They can at least get the job done. They can throw it decently. They can get you where you need to go. I think I trust Florida State's defense more than Georgia's defense. Georgia's defense did not look great against Alabama. I mean, they let up 27 points. You're making a comeback down 10, and you give up a 4-play, 70-some yard drive.
Yeah.
In crunch time, and the Georgia we've seen in the 29 other straight wins has not done that, or at least the 2 years prior. It's just there's something different. They're obviously hitting a little bit of a down patch. Their recruiting class wasn't, or at least this team isn't as good as prior years. I'm gonna have to go with Florida State. They have the fire. I think they want to prove something, and I think they have the stronger defense to stop.
So you got Florida State sweep.
Yeah.
Florida State sweep. Interesting.
Ole Miss. Who would have thought? Both.
Interesting. I mean,
Knock on wood.
I mean, our next game will be a sweep as well. Number 8 Oregon, number 25 Liberty, obviously the Group of 5 champion, but we got Bo Nix back in the game. So
Liberty! No, it's
Liberty.
Oregon.
It's Oregon.
Liberty's undefeated, aren't they?
Yeah.
Liberty are undefeated.
I don't
Should we
know.
start saying they were cut out of the
I don't
playoffs?
know.
Liberty
I've
was
not seen some
snubbed.
crazy things happen. So
Because Bo Nix is playing, isn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
he is.
The
Wouldn't be
thing about Liberty is they just haven't played a ranked opponent,
No.
and Oregon's played 4,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, they played Washington twice.
Yeah, Washington twice, at least.
I'm gonna go Oregon. I have to go Oregon. But I have a question. Who do you think would put up a better fight? JMU versus Oregon or Liberty versus Oregon?
JMU's got the defense.
I think JMU would put up
JMU's
a
got
better
the defense.
I would say Tulane or SMU would be a bit better against Oregon. JMU would be better against Oregon.
I'm just curious because JMU and Liberty were the 2 undefeated ranked,
JMU lost to
Then they lost to
App
App, right?
State.
App State.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Oregon. I think it's a 2-3 score game at this point. I think Bo Nix rides off into the sunset with a huge win. Fiesta Bowl's Phoenix too. They're pissed off too. Yeah.
I would love to see Liberty win though. That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
yeah,
I think that'd be. I
that'd
think
probably be
that'd
the game of the year. Probably.
I think that'd be awesome. If it was
74.
if it was Oregon of previous years where they had no defense, every Pac-12 team, you got a shot. But I like Dan Lanning as a coach, and I think Oregon's defense is battle tested.
I just figured Bo
To an
Nix wanted
extent.
to extend his record for how many games he started. He broke the record 5 games ago, and now he just was trying to add on.
Nice little Heisman grudge match.
Yeah, make it more.
Interesting.
Make it more.
Yeah, so those are the 4 that don't really matter. The next 2 matter a lot more. The Rose Bowl starting with number 4 Alabama, number 1 Michigan. That one's the first one, New Year's Day. Interesting one because Michigan obviously are undefeated, but who takes this one?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the skill positions and I like the defense.
Yeah. Basically agree everything what you just said.
I have some issue with Michigan. I just don't get it. They play so well the last 2 years, and I think this is one of their better teams, but I still don't trust them in the playoffs. So even if they win this game against Alabama, I don't see them winning the championship.
I don't know.
I just don't know why. I can't trust them. Every time they have an undefeated season, or at least close to undefeated, and then they fall apart in the playoffs. They got demolished by TCU last year, didn't they?
Right.
Or was it a close win, 45-42?
They lost I think it was 2 scores at the end.
It was
They got
close.
hot, but it was too late for them to get hot because they kept scoring and then TCU kept scoring.
Yeah, and I'm then TCU goes out and gets blown out by Georgia, and not even close. I mean, this is probably what Liberty Oregon will be. But I don't know if I trust Michigan. And Alabama's probably in there. If you ever watched their recording when they said that they were playing Michigan, they're all just like this. laughing and looking at the screen. I kind of think Michigan's going to pull it out because they have a good team. I just don't trust them to win the whole thing. So I'm going to go Michigan. I think Alabama's going to put up a fight. It's going to be like a 31-24. I just don't see Michigan winning the whole championship.
I mean, I'm going against the committee. I'm saying Alabama's winning this game because, first of all, Michigan just does not perform well in the playoff. They never do.
Your mic, is it on?
Is it on?
Is your mic on?
I don't know. I thought it was. Did this whole thing without a mic on.
We live? I mean, regardless, yeah. I mean, while you're doing that, I think Alabama's the best offense that Michigan's faced all year.
Now it's on.
Now it's on.
We're good.
I relax. But yeah, I'm gonna run with Alabama. They're battle tested. They're on a hot streak. They're probably the hottest team in football. So.
I don't know what it is. Keep going.
But we'll see what happens with that. I'm very confident in them though. So. I think it's just back and forth with something like that. But the last one we're covering, New Year's 6, we got Washington, Texas, the 2 versus the 3. This is my favorite matchup for sure. But this one's a fun one. Both teams, I mean, Washington's made it before. Texas is their first time in the playoff. Who goes to the national championship?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
What's that?
They beat Alabama one time, and I feel like if Alabama do make it to the national championship and Texas make it to the national championship, it would be a good game because it'd be a rematch again. See who better, and I feel like bragging rights would come play an effect in the role. So I got Texas.
Well, now that I can talk, luckily no one can hold me accountable for any of the other things I may have said. So we'll just never know. But I would have to go. I'm going Washington. Washington just finds a way to win these games. I mean, we counted them out against Oregon the first time, they won. We counted them out against Oregon the second time in a neutral field, they won. They just find some way to win. Arizona State. You look at, I think it was Washington State. They have all these close games against bad teams, close games against good teams, and they find some way to pull it out. Don't know how, don't know why. Their defense isn't championship caliber, if you would call it that, but for some reason they find a way to win. So I'm going to go Washington to beat Texas, probably some game in the 30s, my guess, 35, 32, 35, 31. I got Washington going up and winning.
Yeah, this is also my favorite matchup. I'm going to go back on what I said about the Michigan game because every time I've picked against Bama this year, they've won. So let's go Bama beat Michigan. And I really like Michael Penix Jr. I really want him to win this game and win the Natty. But just the way Texas beat Oklahoma State just completely blew them out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something about Texas, I got to roll with Texas on this one. I think they could win the whole thing.
I'm just going to be honest. Yeah. I'd rather whoever wins the Washington-Texas game, I just want them to win the whole thing.
Yeah. It'll definitely be
They're the two less hated in the whole playoffs. That's how I see it.
Everybody hates Michigan and Bama except Michigan and Bama. So, yeah.
I mean, I'll take Texas too. I mean, Texas are my fan favorite team. Every last year, every game I think I picked Texas to win. I just think they are probably the most talented roster. It's just sometimes they fall short. Oklahoma, they fell short. They had a game in overtime too. I forget Kansas State, I think it was, who they played, and they went into OT at home. But I love Texas. I love Quinn Ewers. I love his options. I mean, Xavier Worthy's hurt potentially. But I think they're the best skilled roster, and I think they give Washington a run for their money and take them down undefeated. So, with that being said, the last thing for this semester, we all have our picks. Who's your champion? Texas.
Yeah.
How's that?
I just feel like since they the less talk about, they're going to come in with that mindset and prove a point and shock the world.
Yeah, Texas. Especially if Bama beats Michigan somehow, I would think Texas could beat Bama again. So give me Texas.
I got to correct something because so far I have Washington beating Texas, and I just keep thinking about the Michigan-Alabama game. I said Michigan was going to win in case the mic kind of cut out, so I just want to make sure I clarify. I said Michigan was going to beat Alabama and make the playoff. I just have some weird gut feeling that Nick Saban's going to find a way to beat Michigan. Don't know why. Have no idea why.
He did it to Georgia. I got to get
He did it to Georgia. He did it to, they found a way to win to Auburn. That's still a rivalry,
LSU,
so it's very tough. LSU, Ole Miss.
Well, LSU lost their quarterback.
I'm probably going to have to do exactly what Daniel did. I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to pick Alabama to win. Because, again, I just don't trust Michigan. If this was a regular season game, I'm taking probably Michigan. I just don't trust them in the playoffs. No, you're good.
I don't know if you said it or not, but, like, to me, Big Ten football is like the Cowboys. They get there and then mess up.
That's exactly what I said last week. I was like, Michigan is exactly the Cowboys of the NFL. Like, they're they have a great team. They're always, their fans are always like, we're going to win the championship. And then they get to the, and I feel bad because my uncle's a fan of Michigan. So I love you, uncle. But, like, it's just, it's not go blue. It's no blue. Like, that's just how I see it. So I'm going to have to go back on my word. I'm going to say Alabama's going to beat Michigan. And I think it's going to be Alabama versus Washington. And I think Washington's going to pull away. I think it's going to be probably like 7 points, 3 points. Alabama's going to give them a game. It just seems so fairy tale for Michael Penix. He's the third choice in the Heisman, probably, maybe second choice. I see the purple and gold reigning supreme, whether it's JMU or whether it's Washington Huskies. Some purple and gold team's going to reign supreme at the end, and I have Washington.
I mean, I hope that happens. Realistically, I have Alabama and Texas, and Nick Saban's not going to lose twice against a team. He's not going to lose twice, especially if it's assistant, because Sark coached under him. I mean, I hate to do it because I want Texas or Washington to win, but I think Alabama's going to win. It sucks. I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope that it comes back and bites me in the butt. But I think Alabama's going to win this. So what do we got? We got 2 Texas, Washington, Alabama. No one took the top seed.
No.
Interesting.
It's just reputation. The reputation is just not there. It's when you go back.
Unless they prove me wrong.
Unless.
Yeah.
It gives me like Bengals vibes. You know how everyone says they're the champions and they lose in the AFC Championship or they lose in the Super Bowl? Yeah. It's like that reputation of letting down the fans. Ravens fans feel the same thing.
The Bills,
and I'm a Ravens fan.
The Bills
fans,
Bills.
Every single year you have championship aspirations. Cowboys, Bills, everything you can think of. Championship, and then they get there and they just fumble the whole thing.
49ers too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 49ers.
I don't know. I can't trust them. I can't put my faith in there.
Interesting. I mean, I think the next time that we film, it's going to be right after the college football playoff final. I think it will be the Monday after. Right?
When is it?
It's the 6th. It's when we get back from break, so we'll have a whole week to digest, I think.
The championship's the 6th, then we get
back on the 10th. So unless we want to film that day, but I mean that's enough. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're talking about scheduling stuff. But anywho, that's gonna do it for us. We have our champions. We have our picks. We'll be talking about this when we get back. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the semester. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following along. And yeah, we'll be back in 2024 with some more. I guess what'll it be? College basketball, NBA, and NFL. Super Bowl's coming around.
Yeah.
Women's basketball too. That's big.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have that all for you next semester, so stay tuned for that. But until then, we'll see you.
8-0, baby.
Our state.
Our state.